All right, I'll call this meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. New business. Approval of 22-23 CISA 11 shared service contract addendum.
Okay, so you guys approved the contract for the next year's CISA contract, the shared service contract. In there we had 4 days where we contract, where we've been doing the standards work, the curriculum work, where we bring in someone from CISA. So the proposal or the addendum recommendation, and then feel free to jump in, Mr. Peterson, if you have anything additional, but they want to do 8 days, additional days of ELA work, 8 days of math work, 4 social studies, and then 4 science. So totaling 24 days, and we already have 4, so it's an additional 20 days. I put the contract in there for you guys to take a look at, and then I also put the original CISA contract as well.
And that's all standards work then, basically?
Standards work, some coaching, so with ELA, it'll be kind of continuing to the next level. They got the standards, essential standards identified and basically pretty much all aligned, and it's just continuing with the work of the next steps of developing common assessments and working towards continued curriculum math for ELA, math doing the same process, and then the science and social studies would mainly be in this building. Over there, they're going to be pretty much busy doing math and ELA, all the teachers, because they all teach them for the most part, but science and social studies over here.
So the gal that we've had coming in, Teresa Stanley, she's been specific to ELA, is kind of her forte, and math, social studies, and science all have different individuals that'll be leading that through CISA.
I move to approve the 2022-2023 addendum to the CISA contract.
I second that.
It has been properly moved and seconded to approve the 22-23 CISA 11 shared service contract addendum. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion passes. Next, review of the 22-23 principal hire timeline.
So we'll turn it over to Mr. Peterson.
All right.
Present on that.
Hand out here. So the top document you guys have all seen, this one I emailed all last week. And then just some other things. Updating.
We also have closed session item too, so if there's anything specific on candidates or specific to that would compromise someone as part of that, we can discuss that then too.
Okay. So as far as the timeline, it was posted on May 10th. The applications were all due by yesterday, the 30th. It's listed as or until filled, but that was the deadline that was listed. Planned on, and we did. Mr. Melberg and I did screen candidates today, kind of preliminary screening. I've actually made a few preliminary phone calls too on a few of them, references, and then this Thursday had a meeting planned of the staff committee, the staff interview committee. And then, like I said, we can talk through the options for the actual, the board's involvement with the interviews next week. We can talk through those options. If you flip to the second page, and again, this is just a document that I updated from what we used last year, not reinventing the wheel, just edited and updated this. And so invited the staff committee members again to come to a meeting Thursday after school. And we'll just talk through, because some of them have never been on a hiring committee like this before, so talk through, the etiquette, legalities, making sure that they understand the process, talk through a little bit, do an exercise of characteristics of an ideal candidate, and then see what questions they have and make sure that we're, on the same page with the staff committee.
So are these mainly the same people as last time?
No, very different, because the last time was high school. It was high school people for the high school position last year. So these are all elementary. So the people there have all agreed to. I did have one person come back today, and I took off the list now that said, oh, they have a conflict now. And, it is school gets out on Friday. I had one person who dropped out. So I may add another person or two in there. I did have a few support staff or district staff who I offered it to, and they said, I'm okay without participating.
Nobody on the upper wing wanted to do it?
There's a couple from the upper wing.
Oh, is Beth upper wing
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the one right below her too. So,
Okay.
Yep. So.
That's right.
Yeah, but I tried to get representation across the wings and specialists and support staff and. But we've had some turnover in our elementary staff right now with school psych and counselor and special ed director and some one of the secretaries. So those people would often would have been invited to be part of it too. So there's a few people that would maybe regularly be part of that. So so then if we go back to the front page, we kind of had discussed two different options of whether we have two committees operating on the same night, which is how we did the operation last year. So if we had, Monday, June 6th, if we had a staff committee and a board committee both interviewing at the same time and kind of like we did for the superintendent, and then have people swap back and forth, that was one option. The other option was if we did staff committee, do a first round with the admin team leading it on the 6th, and then bring some finalists in on the 9th potentially. There's disadvantages and advantages to both ways. The last time we did the principal hire last spring, we did all in one night. It seemed, it was, I should say, both committees met at the same time. It was over 2 nights because there were a lot of candidates. So I guess it comes down to the board's preference, the board's availability, and kind of the number of candidates. I would say that if we had a smaller number of candidates, I think it kind of makes more sense to get it all done in one night. If we said, hey, we want to interview a dozen people, then I don't think I would ask the board to come in for all that many interviews, but narrow it down for the board. But instead, if we had a smaller amount of people to interview, then I would maybe suggest, then I would probably propose doing it in one night. So we can just maybe when we close, we can talk about potential numbers and things like that, and kind of see where you guys want to take that. And so, any questions about the timeline?
Nope.
Okay. All right.
You good, Matt?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. With that, the contemplated closed session in accordance with WSS 19.851C and 118.223 to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of public employees over which the board has jurisdiction. We are going to discussion of a performance of employees. I'll pull the board. Nettie?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Skip? Yep. We are in now closed session. All right, we're back in open session.
I move to approve the district hire to special ed director with emergency leave explanation added into the contract.
I second.
It has been properly moved and seconded to approve the new special ed director. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, motion passes. With that, any future agenda items? No, it's not even like that. I just gave you the agenda or a template of the agenda, so you just can look through that and let me know. And then I gave you the policies that are on the June 13th.
I don't see Sora on here. Was that?
Library media is on there too.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to discuss it or mix it. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.